How you guys doing? Y'all gotta give me the energy. I need it. I'm a little tired, so bring me the energy, all right? So I'm excited and challenged today. Excited just to be here with you guys, to give you guys some value. But I'm also challenged because over the last 2 years, I've learned some great distinctions, and I have to try to pack that into 18 minutes. So I'm gonna go quick, stay with me. I want to start with a story. It's a story about two little kids that grew up together, and they grew up in this village. And in that village, the village had, the rich area, it had the poverty area, it had, the middle class area, and all these things. And these two kids grew up in the poor area. And one of the kids wanted to be a monk, and he also wanted to be a magician. And he wanted to be rich. He said, I want to live in that rich area. So he kept his eyes on that area every day. He would look, and he would go, I'm going to live there one day. And one of his friends, the other kid, was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. You ain't going to be able to do that. You ain't going to be able to do that. So this kid achieved that. He went, became a monk, and he was a monk that did magic. And the other kid stayed where he was, and he became a thief. And the kid that became a monk ended up being one of the best magicians in the world. They used to say things about him like he can control people and he can control the world and he could bend matter and do all these things. And so the thief got jealous of that. And so he would always try to go to the monk and try to steal things from him and try to get bad things to come out so that he could tell everybody else in the world who loved the monk that this guy was not what you think he is. And so one day the thief got fed up and said, you know what? I'm gonna just go rob him. And so the thief got a bow and arrow, and he got a whole bunch of his friends, and they went and they robbed the whole village. And when they robbed the village, he said, leave the monk to me. I got him. And so he went in, and when he went in to rob the monk was sitting down, sipping on his tea. And he pulled the bow and arrow back. And before he could speak, the monk said, the money's right there. You can have it. And he went and grabbed the money. He said, but leave me $100 so I can pay my taxes. And the guy grabs thousands of dollars, and he looks at him and leaves $100 on the desk. And he goes to run out, and he sees this vase. And the rumor was that the vase was the monk's power. It's how the monk was able to do magic. So he's like, I'm going to get him for his vase too. And so as he went to take the vase, the monk sat up and said, be careful. That vase cracks really easy. And then he looks at him weird, and then he goes to run out the house, and he goes, you forgot to say thank you. And the guy goes, thank you. And then he leaves. And then so the next day, the village was in an uproar. Everybody was upset. We got robbed. And the monk was chilling. And one of his friends noticed that his vase wasn't with him. He said, where's your vase? Did you get robbed too? And the monk said, no, actually some nice guy came to my house. I let him have the vase and I let him have some money. He was even polite enough to leave me $100 from my taxes, and he even said thank you. And so that's everything that I'm going to be talking about today. Controlling the context, molding the world, shaping the world how you want it to be. If you could control the world, control yourself, control other people, and control your environment, would you do that? Would that be valuable to you? If it is, say yes. Yes. So we're going to get into it. Okay. Become unbounded. How to control and get whatever you want with performance. So the world, if we're going to control the world, first we have to know what the world actually is. And one of the issues is we argue about what the world is and what reality is. You ever get in an argument with your friend and they go, this is facts. Facts are men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Facts, right? But what are facts? Facts represent reality. So what is reality? Reality, when I ask people this, they'll say, perception is reality. Reality is consciousness. And so I say to them, okay, if a bus was about to hit you, is the bus real? And they say yes. And I go, okay, do you look at the bus and go, Here comes some perception. Here comes some consciousness. No, right? But what is it about the bus that makes it real? It's physical. Reality is physical, and things that are physical have form, exist in time, and take up distance. Time, form, and distance are all just forms of measurement. Things that are physical can be measured. When something is measured, that simply means it has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. Okay? And to explain that, I am the end of the space from the back of the stage to me, but I'm also the middle of the space from the back of the stage to you guys, right? Everything in the world is in agreement. Its beginnings depend on the ends of other things and extend through the middle. Everything in the world flows into everything else. It's all one. Beginnings, middles, and ends, all in agreement. That's what the world really is. It's just physicality and it's agreement. That's all it is. Whatever we agree on, whatever most of us agree on, that's what's real and what's physical. The world only consists of three real things that you can control. That is people, that is your environment, and yourself. So, what if you can control other people and control your environment and control yourself? Like the magician. How dope would that be? How powerful would you be if you can control and mold everything the way you want it? That's what we're going to teach you today. First thing we must control is ourselves. And how do we control ourselves? How? Okay, well, control your mind. You got to control your brain. All these people tell you to do things, but they don't give you access on how to actually do it. That's where performance comes in. Performance is just action. So, there are three laws to performance. These are the laws I came up with that give access to performance. And when you think of performance, just think of the actions that you want to take, controlling yourself. Law number 1. People's performance always is connected with how the world looks to them. Okay? So if I go to throw a bottle at you and I lob it at you, you'll just catch it because the bottle looked like a catchable item. But if I went to chuck it at you at a close distance like this, you might go like that because the bottle looks like an uncatchable item. Your actions are always connected to how things look to you. In neuroscience, they have proven that the part of the brain, the patterns that control action are connected to perceptual patterns that show or represent how the world looks to you. Number 2, how the world looks to you is created in language. What do you say? What are you using to represent circumstances, other people, or yourself? Your self-talk. Are you aware of your self-talk? What are you saying to yourself? And I'll show you guys how to change your self-talk in an instant. Number 3 is you always, in every situation, no matter what, have something to say about how the world looks to you. So you have to take responsibility for what you're looking at.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
Go!
The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Go!
It's easy to miss something you're not looking for. Now, did you see what the video did? It changed the way you looked at the video by controlling the context by saying, count how many passes the team in white makes. And the brain, the mind, or the ego wants to be right. It loves being right. So we look at that and go, oh, I'm going to get this. I'm going to figure this out. And then some of us go, oh, it's trying to get me. It wants me to miss something. It's very rare for someone to be able to count the 13 passes and see the bear. All right. The second thing we need to learn is how to control other people. Now, how I talked about the ego and how the mind just wants to be right. What happens is our identity is tied up in being right about what we believe. And so when someone goes against our righteousness, we get angry. It literally builds up cortisol in our body as if like a bear is coming to attack us. It really, literally makes us feel afraid or angry. People have egos, and ego only wants to be right. You can never, and I argue with people about this, you cannot escape your ego. And the reason for this is, even when I stop trying to be right, I'm trying to be right about not being right. Right? And so we want to be right in results, in physicalness, in measurability, in agreement, not just arguments. You can either be right in argument or you can be right in result. The secret to getting people to do what you want is to shut their ego off. To shut the ego off, you must let people be right in argument and then give their subconscious mind a demand. So the mind is this tool that naturally fixes problems, but the tool gets clutched up because we want to be right. And so when my mom goes off on me about something, Roy, rah, 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 I go, you're right, Mom. I understand. But the problem I'm having is I really would like to do this, this, and this. What can we do to solve that? I let her be right. Her ego's off. Oh, it's okay. You could do that. Just make sure you let me know this, this, and this. Use that framework and people will do anything for you. The way to give the subconscious mind a demand is by giving them a problem to solve in the form of a question. Okay, lastly, control your environment. There is 2 ways to control your environment. Easy, choose to be in places that have positive vibes and positive people. By positive, I don't mean hoorah positive. I mean just congruent with who you are. If you're a hooper, basketball players. If you're an actor, actor. If you're this, that, be that. Be with those people. Number 2, control your focus. But how do you control your focus? I define focus as the ability to bring your thoughts to a single point. I don't know if kids still do this, but when I was a kid, I used to take a magnifying glass and I used to burn ants and insects on the ground, right? What you're doing is you're taking the light and you're directing it into a center point. You see how much more powerful it is when you bring it to a center point. Same with your thoughts. You cannot do this with a vision. People, you got to have a vision. You got to imagine. A vision cannot be brought to a single point because it's a vision. It's not a single point thought. It's not a single point. It's a picture, right? You cannot change your focus just by using positive affirmations either. Every day and every way, I'm getting better and better. Every day and every way, I'm getting better and better. That does not work because you can't bring words or sentences to a single point, right? So, how do we bring our thoughts to a single point? The way to instantly change your focus is to think about the meaning of the words. Words are just the clothing for meaning. What does this mean? The way to think about a meaning is to ask your subconscious mind a simple question. Just like when I shut off my mom's ego and then I fed her a problem in the form of a question, our subconscious mind works the same way. So what is that question? What does this mean? When you're having negative emotions, depressed, angry, any emotion that, anxiety, any emotion that bothers you, you just stop and ask yourself. The way to give your subconscious mind demands is to give it questions, and then it's forced to answer those questions. That's why when you're up late watching TV and they go, are you having this symptom and that symptom? Your subconscious mind automatically answers that question. What does this mean? What does this mean? And the answer to that is infinite. It can mean anything you want it to be. That's your power, choice. You can choose the meaning. Whatever meaning you choose will determine what you experience, what you perceive, and what actions you take. Meaning is the secret to dictating your outcome, not the current circumstances. Love you guys.